Welcome to this explainer. We're going to head straight beneath the surface today to uncover the incredibly cinematic, mystical depths that are hidden within the zodiac's most grounded element. If you think you already know everything about the Earth signs, well, get ready, because we're about to completely transform your perspective. So let's start off with a bit of a provocative question, right? Are Earth signs actually just practical perfectionists and stubborn workers? I mean, for the longest time, they've been boxed into these super mundane stereotypes. We hear they're merely the practical ones, the rule followers, the stubborn workers of the zodiac. But what if I told you that beneath that solid, totally dependable exterior lies a massive well of ancient, profound magic? Yeah, we're going to shatter that everyday stereotype right now. Okay, let's jump right in by defining the absolute core of our journey today: shadow magic. This is the alchemical process these guardians of the land actually use to transform reality. Basically, it's the esoteric practice of delving into the primal, sometimes completely unacceptable or disowned aspects of the self. Think of that deep-seated fear you have, or that urge for absolute control, or even the anger you just try to hide away from the world. That is your shadow. By facing these really dark corners head-on, Earth signs don't just find healing, they actually transmute that darkness into profound, undeniable true power. Section 1. Taurus, the Earth's Enchantress. We're kicking off our descent into this hidden realm by stepping right past that tired old trope of the stubborn bull, and instead we're revealing their truest archetype, the sensual priestess and the builder. You see, Taurus holds the deep medicine of embodiment. If Aries is the initial spark, Taurus is the deep, steady burn of nature. Their sole purpose is a really powerful reminder for all of us. Your pleasure is sacred and your presence is power. Their light magic acts as a grounded earth healer, essentially teaching us to slow down enough to actually live inside our bodies and to savor beauty without a drop of guilt. Now, looking at their correspondences, these sensory elements are what actually ground Taurus's pleasure magic. Because they're ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and art, their magic doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just softly hums. The Empress Tarot card perfectly reflects this indulgent, abundant energy they have, while the Hierophant channels their role as a deeply grounded spiritual teacher. And by using crystals like emeralds, jade, and rose quartz, or blending herbs like rose and patchouli, they anchor their energy through tangible touch, scent, and beauty. It is literally earth magic in its absolute most embodied form. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's all about their dichotomy. On a light spectrum, Taurus manifests incredible abundance and just patient devotion. But their shadow magic requires facing their dark spectrum: rigid possessiveness, stubborn resistance to change, and, well, let's be honest, an overwhelming desire to just buy more expensive candles. Taurus must overcome this specific shadow to stay rooted in the earth, without becoming rigidly calcified. They've got to embrace pleasure, but without letting it turn into this trap of materialistic attachment. So how do they actually harness this alchemical mix? Well, Taurus can perform this incredibly specific working called the Garden of Gold ritual. By centering in stillness, burying a copper coin with the roots of a new plant, which charges it with Earth and Venus energy, and then lighting a green flame, they cultivate tangible abundance. This is a living spell, and it helps transmute their shadowy attachment into living, breathing, growing magic. Section 2. Virgo, the mystic healer. As we go deeper into the underworld, it is definitely time to shatter that whole label of the anxious perfectionist or hypercritic. Let's reveal who they truly are: the priestess of the harvest. Ancient myth links Virgo to some incredibly powerful figures like Persephone and Isis. Just as Persephone was taken into the underworld to be initiated into her own power, and Isis searched the whole world to resurrect Osiris from the dead, Virgo is this profound spiritual alchemist. They possess the innate power to restore life and sacred order out of absolute, complete chaos. Now, while their light side purifies toxins in the mind and body through spiritual discernment and sacred service, their shadow, it's heavy, really heavy. In distortion, Virgo makes a critical error. They mistakenly swap control for care. Their shadow magic requires overcoming that awful trap of self-punishing martyrdom, anxiety, and the super rigid need to control every single outcome. They absolutely have to learn that true healing is about harmony, right? Not absolute flawlessness. You have to look closely at this, the Virgo sigil. Notice how it literally turns inward upon itself. Actually, unlike Scorpio's glyph, which points outward, Virgo's symbol acts like a visual instruction manual. It's calling them to go within and explore the deep, dark corners of their own psyche. Serving others is a beautiful treat, obviously, but it shouldn't be used as a convenient excuse to avoid the really difficult road of exploring their own shadow self. To manage all this, the Virgo soul has some amazing grounding tools at their disposal to integrate intellect and empathy. They're ruled by Mercury, giving them that analytical brilliance, and Chiron, the wounded healer, which allows them to translate cosmic order into daily, rhythmic healing. They also utilize the alchemical principle of salt. Salt represents grounding, preserving energy, and actually bringing volatile spirits back down to earth. Working with the hexagon, salt, peridot, and lavender helps them perfectly bridge that gap between high spiritual ideals and everyday material reality. And finally, Section 3, Capricorn, the Shadow Seer. All right, we've reached the absolute deepest roots here with Capricorn. This is the wise old soul of the zodiac who governs the heavy primordial forces of time, karma, and ultimate responsibility. Ruled by Saturn, which is the planet of restrictions, Capricorn's prophetic gift is profound. They possess what mystics call stone resonance. It's this unshakable foundational energy that allows them to tap into ancestral healing abilities. They don't just climb the mountain, They know exactly how to lead others through the dark night of the soul and find hope on the other side of bittersweet transformation. So their strength during times of adversity is just incomparable. Their light is all about this absolute mastery of time and divine responsibility. But their shadow, it lies in acting as a grumpy, distant, and unforgiving goat who basically wants everyone off their mystical lawn. Driven by Saturn's intense influence, they can become really cold, weighed down by past guilt, and they might aggressively impose traditional values just out of a sheer fear of the unknown. To lighten that incredibly intense karmic load, Capricorns can dip into this specific bag of tricks. Working with the shape of spirals is huge. It reminds them that taking small, gradual steps will inevitably lead to massive change over time. Turquoise is fantastic for dissolving those deep-rooted patterns of self-sabotage. And amethyst, it acts as this gentle, calming whisper in their ear, constantly encouraging them to embrace a little moderation and some very necessary vulnerability to soften those unforgiving edges. Bringing it all together in Section 4, the Earth Triangle. Let's see how this all builds up to the ultimate esoteric climax. We're looking at the material expression of all three Earth signs working as one powerful triangle. According to esoteric astrology, they fuse together to bring light and life into tangible, physical form on Earth. It starts with Taurus, right? Bringing the light of knowledge. Then Virgo takes that raw knowledge and refines it into the light of wisdom. Finally, Capricorn grounds the whole shebang, turning it into the light of life through liberation and service. Together, they transmute pure desire into actual spiritual expression. So what's the big takeaway from this explainer? Well, it's that Earth signs hold this absolutely incredible medicine of grounded embodiment. They teach us that spirituality isn't about just floating away from the real world. Actually, scratch that. It's the opposite. True magic is the active, intentional participation in transforming our imperfections. It's about turning our mundane, everyday reality into a sacred, living ritual. As we wrap up our descent into the hidden alchemy of the Earth signs, I really want to leave you with a thought. The magic of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn is available to all of us if we're willing to do the work. So ask yourself, what reality are you going to manifest when you finally step into the dark, stop running, and embrace your own shadow? Thank you so much for exploring these depths with me.